Seeing that it's 6 o'clock, I will call to order the June 15th, 2026 meeting of the Belleville Board of Trustees. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take the lead. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Trustee Bongard. Here. Trustee Cannon.
Here.
Michael Kraft. Here. Francois.
Here.
Thanks. Here. Stiegler.
Here.
And President Service.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Woohoo, we're all here. Public comment, we have any tonight?
I have nobody signed up for public comment tonight.
Right. And we'll move on to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member requests it, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered the first item after the approval of the consent agenda. We have quite a few items tonight. Meeting minutes from June 1st, main check register, budget year-to-date numbers, special event application for Bakerswood Black Party, Park Meadows and Ontario State's Parkland Bank Agreement. It was from a prior meeting. And many alcohol license applications, which I'm not going to read each one out. So
We approve the consent agenda.
Second.
motion by Gary, second by Shelley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. President's report. Do not have anything relevant except I'm going on vacation next week and I'm very excited about it. So, staff reports.
Sure, a few things. For anyone who knows, our community park sewer line, we've been talking about that before, that is repair is holding. So that's very good news. We, by our storms last week, we got our 40 trees planted out on the west side and we're looking pretty good over there. That's about it.
The park is going fabulously. We're going to have another rain-free night tomorrow.
Absentee, people with absentee ballot requests will be receiving their absentee ballots. Possibly into next week, probably more like the week, beginning of the week after. So keep an eye out for that. Anybody wishing to request an absentee ballot or check your registration status, myvote.BellevilleWI.gov is your place to go. We also had a slight issue this morning. A lot of people that have applications that have shown up on agendas and everything got a phishing email. It looks very similar to something the village might send, but it came from, instead of the BellevilleWI.gov, it came from BellevilleWI@mail.com. Also had Gabe's name on it. So also didn't have the name of our Economic Development and Tourism Committee correctly, but I wanted to bring it up here just in case. I did reach out to everyone that's put in an application last couple months saying, hey, that wasn't us. A lot of people reached back out to me as well saying, hey, this is you. Due to the openness of our records and requests, these phishing scams are very prevalent in Wisconsin right now. They can skim off information, especially from planning commissions and stuff. They can spoof our logo by just downloading it from the end. So we get a lot in our email boxes as well, but I just want kind of everyone to be aware that double check your emails. We're not going to invoice you via email. We do it either by mail or through our civic review platform. So we don't want anybody accidentally getting scammed. So I'll just share that.
One alibi. Shout out to the Public Works crew. I think they were on their third day of chipping after the storm today. I'm pretty sure they got a fourth one ahead of them tomorrow. So yeah, great job, guys.
I'm driving by night. All right. Moving on then to old business. Considering acceptance of Bell West Road infrastructure. We got some updates on that. I think.
Okay, yes, I'm hoping you read the attachments. I sent in a separate email as well as just being attached to the agenda, because it is fairly dense and complex. What I would take to reference specifically here is the memo, which the 12 June memo that's in there. That's with, I wrote that up with Kevin Lord's approval. That's how he feels about it. He feels everything was done to standard, everything's good to go. They got the documentation behind it to back it up that they put the appropriate level of material down and was compacted appropriately. It may have just been, I mean, measuring on a road, it's not exactly laboratory conditions. And maybe it just, our people may have been a little overzealous when they graded it.
Meaning that it's possible they compacted it more than.
No, meaning
Or.
Meaning MSA may have, I say it's not laboratories. You're trying to measure 3/8 of an inch on a road where you've got things sloping and going everywhere. And I mean, it's not like we're saying the minimum is 3/8 of an inch over those lips and the maximum is 3/4 of an inch. You can't have that. You know, the goal is 3/8 of an inch, and they're a hair shy in places. It was never flush. It's always over. Frankly, it was just overzealous given the environment. They put down the appropriate amount of material. Everything was compacted correctly. They provided the documentation, and MSA has come out and said, okay, this was a bit much on our part. We were a little over ambitious.
Some math when it comes to materials based on how it's supposed to compact and spread and cover. We got all the material that fits the required volume.
Yes.
So.
I feel like it was a one-off, and I think we can go with that for now. And if something else comes up, I mean, you had said they seemed pretty agreeable in what you had experienced with their email correspondence. I'm okay with that. I appreciate looking into it and having them do the work on it, because I think that was really something that came out of works.
And the one thing that, you know, we have to make sure, keep in mind in the future is make sure, keep in mind. Oh my.
Sorry, I got it muted, it's okay.
Okay. And we acknowledge that, and we will work to make sure that happens.
Didn't we also ask that you have them extend the warranty for till 24 months instead of 12?
You did ask, and I did not get that. Basically because MSA, our engineers, basically took it upon themselves and said we were overzealous in our grading. They essentially said it was their fault.
So if we catch a plow or something or catch that, is MSA going to take care of it then, or is that going to come back on us?
That would come back on us. We hire MSA to do a job, but that would be our responsibility.
I mean, it's interesting to me that he relayed this information to you, but didn't put it on MSA's, letterhead. I feel it was better if they had done that instead of just, I don't know, I still have a lot of questions. We went from, there was a measurement that was too low to the average density is acceptable. I'm just not sure how I feel about this. There's a lack of, I guess, a lack of ownership. If there was a mistake in measurement, there still seems like a lack of ownership of that.
I feel like the biggest issue was that they didn't reach out to MSA.
Yes.
And I think that Kevin had kind of pointed that out as well. You know, whether we're talking an eighth of an inch, a sixth of an inch, whatever, I think just reading that.
That is a good point.
And that we still see as an issue. It does not really affect this, because that is not material to the question we're asking right now, but it is something that we need to observe in the future. Keep in mind that the companies that were doing this, they do this all over southern and southwest Wisconsin. This is not a one-off. This is their bread and butter. This is what they do. I think given our email exchanges and our communication with them immediately after that last meeting, they were extremely responsive. They were not dismissive.
Well, and the fact that they provided delivery tickets, I think is huge. I mean, that's not an easy task.
Yes, they dug everything up for us and brought it up.
So Scott, would you have something done differently than what we've done so far?
I mean, it's just, I don't know what I would do differently, but I'm just deeply concerned. We had a measurement that MSA did. Now they're saying that measurement was mistaken, but not communicated in a form where we have any legal, anything. And it's the average density, not specific places. And I don't know, I'm just concerned this is going to turn around and bite us. I don't know what we can do about it.
As a practical matter, there probably isn't a whole lot. And given the very small amount of this measurement, we're talking an eighth of an inch.
But again, they could extend their warranty from 12 months to 24. So we get a one full good winter in case we have a mild winter. We have a lot of freezing and thawing. It could heave that.
I think more realistically, the problem would happen, instead of, I don't know what the lifespan is supposed to be of the road, but say it's 30 years, we might end up with 28 or 29 and end up having to resurface it or do something to it sooner.
I would argue that's the most likely scenario. But building a system for road resurfacing, which we've got to start on this year, which we're starting it down in Cosgrove. I don't foresee that being an issue because I don't think we're going to become delinquent in our road resurfacing.
Okay. So.
I would make a motion that we approve the Bell West Road infrastructure.
Second.
Motion by Missy, second by Shelley to approve road infrastructure for Bell West.
Clarify that that's an approval of the resolution.
I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't want to voice that incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that going forward, I'm sorry.
Okay. There's a lot of facts up there, so finding the resolution.
Out of practice.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I
So we got 5-2. Scott and Debbie, no. And the motion passes. All right. Moving on. Consider acceptance of the Baker Woods Road Infrastructure Resolution. Accepting the certificate of submittal completion for Baker's Woods Phase 2.
This is exactly the same. It's materially the exact same thing. They did it at the same time. It was the exact same issue. It's just, they're divided up two different sections, different subdivisions, so.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the resolution for acceptance of the Bakerswood Road infrastructure.
second.
Seconded by Debbie.
Yes.
Any discussion on this one? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
6-1. That is the no. Motion passes. Into new business. Consider resolution to eliminate the cemetery special reserve fund, revenue fund, sorry.
Get rid of the whole cemetery.
Good
luck with that.
Revenue fund.
You had to say that, didn't you? You had to go down that road.
No, this has absolutely nothing to do with the physical cemetery or how we keep it up or anything like that. This is purely the financial behind the scenes. So we have a special revenue fund, Fund 210 set up. For the cemetery, it's got, that's so that everything that comes in and out is accounted for as a separate fund, just like we have the general fund for general operations for cemetery. Problem with cemeteries, much like schools, is that they always lose money. It's to the point now where the fund balance that we have, it's been a good run, but it's going to be done by the end of this year, if not shortly thereafter, just at the rate that we burn money caring for the cemetery. And so talk to the auditors about it, and they concur that we just, as of January 1, fold the cemetery special revenue fund, eliminate it, fold it into operation. So the cemetery will be under municipal facilities going forward, general fund. And that's it.
Streamlines it a little bit. I would make a motion to approve resolution to eliminate the cemetery special revenue fund.
Second.
Second by Gary. Any discussion? It'd be nice to eliminate that too, not have to hear about it every year.
Yeah.
I guess in a good way, there's not enough people dying to get in there. I can't do it, sorry.
Okay, so still, there's a sign on the other side of the road, like the big Dover. And I've always wanted to put on there, like, if you were dead, you'd be home by now.
This is taking a dark turn. Let's get moving. Back on. All right.
Could save the fun, guys.
Any relevant discussion? All right, any relevant discussion? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, next item, consider blight remediation policy.
Yep, so this has already been through a couple passes of CDA. CDA adopted it, but this just basically gives the outline of who, what, when, where, why, when we designate something like, if we designate something like, and then kind of how the code compliance change works. And so this policy, if not you, who, if not this, then what? Just goes through the order of operations very clearly for what happens and when, and who's responsible for it. But I mean, this isn't something that we had to have. It doesn't validate anything we've done at this point. It's just very, very clear out there for everybody to see. This is what it is.
I read through this.
I really liked
You
it.
cleaned it up.
Yeah, that was really,
Laid it out.
I did,
The structure.
did find one thing on 203 on page 8. I think that's the old village ordinance citation you got in that first sentence.
Maybe. Okay.
You got 372-6 or 5, so whatever it is now.
Yeah.
All right.
You're sharp.
Right, so he's paid the big bucks.
All right.
I'm gonna make a motion then that we approve the Village of Belleville blighted property identification and remediation policy.
Second.
I'm giving that one to Debbie. That's who I heard first. She got you by half a second. My little ears about it. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, consider resolution amending the 2026 village budget to provide funds to the Chamber of Commerce.
No way.
Yeah, so this came out of the EDTC meeting last time. EDTC wanted to take $5,000 that had been portioned for the economic growth grant and move it to the chamber. My understanding is to be used for part-time staff.
Yeah, so I spoke to the chamber about this, and they want to use this to work on their Be Here campaign, the purpose of which is to boost sales by highlighting local businesses. Their membership has tripled in the last few months, and they've seen a 200% increase in Facebook traffic. So I think it's another community support their chambers another way in a variety of ways. We don't have a room tax, unfortunately, to support the chamber, so this would be this money was set aside in the budget for business grants. We had no applicants. So I feel like this would be a good way to use this money. I don't know if you had anything to add about what the chamber's doing or.
Definitely here to answer any questions. I think in the last couple of years, the chamber has done a good job of getting back on its feet. We've had some great events. The annual dinner kind of kicked off this fever of local business owners starting to ask again about the chamber. We had new elections very recently with a few new board members. Josh Westcott now becoming the president of the chamber. The chamber had the funds to be able to secure Tanya as our first staff member or only staff member for a 6-month contract. So we moved forward with that. And what we have seen in the last month is just exceptional. And I can tell you as a local business owner in town, you know, we purchased Sugar River Lanes in 2022. The first thing I looked for was a chamber. And at that time, there really wasn't. And as we grow as a town and the community, a chamber is going to play a pivotal part of that. So I feel like anything the village can offer to help support our endeavors to represent the business community in Belleville is very important. I appreciate you taking the time today.
So when you say 250% growth, what are the actual numbers behind that? Do we go from 4 to 12?
Or that
14 or?
That I couldn't tell. I just know it's 200% growth.
I don't, I'm not saying it's, you know, I'm just curious. I mean, we're still small and I don't know. I'm kind of curious how many local businesses are participating in becoming members of the chamber.
I'm going to recuse myself from the vote for this one because I am actively involved with the chamber, but I can tell you I have some of the insider information. We're over 30 members now.
Okay.
What are some of the things that these funds go towards? I mean, you get a dinner, you get a yearly dinner. What are other things that we can expect to see from the chamber with these kind of funds?
So that it's a matter of trying to, the staffing's the biggest thing. And then we're also aligning ourselves with other groups. We've got Green County coming in. We've had some other chambers that we are partnering with to try to run some events and get some other avenues into town that are going to generate an increased business flow to our local businesses here. I think a prime example is like the 10-jump mile races and stuff like that. We're working closer with them now than we have in the past. We were able to offer our members an ability to create coupons to put in their welcome packets. So all of those racers, all of those people that came in for that event received a welcome packet. They received coupons directly for the llama, for Sugar River Lanes, for the Hop Garden, for the days.
Sorry, so getting to that a little bit, maybe we could talk about this later too, but when you offer those coupons, is that a hit on the business or is that something, the chamber takes the cost of that then, that the business would be?
Currently, it's a hit on business.
Okay, but that would be, some of these funds would go towards that?
Absolutely, being
Okay.
able to offer stuff like that.
Got it.
You.
Yep.
To, quite frankly, be able to keep the cost to our members to be part of the chamber down where it is. We're at $70 to be a member in the chamber. I pay 3 times, 4 times that in Madison to be a member of the chamber there. Pay twice that to be the member of the chamber in McFarland or Stoughton. So, I mean, the better job we do at fundraising and receiving funds outside of the business community, the more we can save the business.
I would say it's important to have a thriving business community, to have a thriving chamber. So I will make a motion to approve the resolution number 2010-07 budget to provide funds to the Chamber of Commerce.
Second.
By Scott, seconded by Gary. So, if I'm correct, we do have a room tax on the ordinance. That is,
We run the books, we don't have any rooms.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm hoping the chamber can maybe work towards getting some rooms that we can tax.
Yeah, at some point in the future.
Strike them off, shut get it moving.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this $5,000 is in addition to the grant, correct?
In addition to, so there's $10,000 budgeted for the grant, and this would take 5 of that since nothing's been awarded, and, yeah. Right.
So it's just reallocating funds.
Gotcha,
Right,
okay.
moving 5,000 out of the grant to the chamber. And, since we're already at the halfway part of the year, you know, I guess you could say that we've spent half of our grant then. So there's still grant money available if someone would come asking. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alright, next item of business. Consider Badger Trails Phase 2 final plat application.
Yeah, this is from Plan Commission. Jeff from Mark Design is here if you got any questions about it. This is the second phase, and what I think is going to be 3 phases now instead of the original 5 or 6. It's 84 units in Badger Trails. They're hoping to get going with the infrastructure on that shortly after they finish all that phase 1 and then by the end of the year. But yeah, as I noted in my memo, it does substantially conform to the that was approved. Yes, we're ready.
So why are we going from 5 or 6 phases down to 3?
I mean, basically, it makes sense for the developer. I mean, the more chunk, the more they can get done at once, the more homes they can build without having to put the money up in the infrastructure. Yeah, basically. I don't know if you know more about what exactly is appropriate. Sure, I'll see you.
Yeah, sure. Come on.
Ready to swear?
No.
You guys are super formal. All right, I'll get my,
It's recorded.
okay. That's, real quick, as a real quick aside, since I've been invited up, there was some miscommunication on the paving schedule. We felt like we had told them that we were getting ready to pave. We're gonna be out there milling for the manholes, et cetera. And I had assumed that the paving company was contacted the review engineer, and he did not. Although his same company did on another project I was working on about the same time. So there was, and I could have easily called, I think MSA could have called and said like, hey, you said you were going to be paving, are you, I mean, and they did like a week and so later. So there was a miscommunication, and now I know that this particular guy, maybe he's not so sharp to call, so I'll make sure that we're calling him the next day. I'm just letting you know that.
Okay.
But I do have high confidence in Rock Road that they're top shelf for as far as paving goes. So, okay, moving on. Badger Trails. So, phase 1, as you know, we worked through all the issues and got approved. They're just now getting started on the storm sewer installation. Once that happens, hoping to move into curbs sometime after 4th of July. Fingers crossed, we'll have our first binder course lift down by the end of July. And actually, he's already sold 2 houses, the first 2 lots. I don't know, you know, sight unseen, just based on the models. So he's got the first 2 lots as sold. You know, people wanting to move to Belleville, that's for sure. Phase 2 for us is going to be this orange area, and we originally felt like if we did roughly 5 40-lot plats, that would be a good consumption value. The cost of the infrastructure since COVID has gone completely bonkers. And so just to get economy of scale, get people, keep people working, we went ahead and we've kind of reprioritized and said, like, let's just do a bigger chunk here for phase 2, and then phase 3 will be our blue area in the final parkland. The only changes from the tentative is we had a road extension here, which all parties, the village, the engineer, and us kind of agreed it's really never going to go anywhere. So we made that a curve, and then right down here at the bottom, we did lose one lot because our stormwater needs just were slightly bigger than what we had assumed, hoped for in the preliminary, in the final analysis. In order to get everything approved and working right, we had to lose one of the lots down at the bottom end. So those are the only 2 changes to the tentative. But where we're at in the approval process is we've addressed every comment from MSA. They've approved it with subject to us providing final copies of all the permits, and then also issuing a letter of credit. We just got the bids in, so we can work on a letter of credit estimate, get that submitted. I've got the DNR water permit, I've got the DNR storm permit, I've got the CARPC storm permit, I've got the CARPC sanitary approval, which I just got the sanitary last week, so I issued and applied for the DNR sanitary sewer permit. It's the one permit that's currently outstanding. But that should just be kind of running through the process, and as soon as we can, we're going to order some manholes for sanitary, and the goal would be kind of turn around and keep the guys going this fall. And we would like to finish out the infrastructure for phase 2 or plat 2 by the end of the year, such that we would have, availability in the spring to start pulling basements. And then as a preview, I'll be working on phase 3 or plat 3 this winter, try and get that going sometime next, like about a year from now. So road construction issues with the neighbors and that should all be taken care of by about a year from now, hopefully.
On a good note for the neighbors, it won't be a 5-year process of construction necessarily, right?
Yeah.
If there's only 3 phases.
Also, you can never tell, but
Yeah, infrastructure.
it's kind of interesting that, I think he had some people over, I believe they're down to like just 3 or 4 in Bell West, as that's all they got left, and so they had some people looking, we don't like that model, what do you have over here? Probably, end of the year, it took it.
So if you could refresh my memory, because we've been looking at all 3.
Mm-hmm.
That roads that go in, and I'm looking at phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the one goes in off of Greenview.
Yeah. This is, I can't remember the name of it, Clark or Hall or something. Clive. So that connects back to the same street basically, and then Vine Street is ready to be stubbed. But we have an intervening property owner to get to the next.
Okay, because that was my question.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we can't control, I think the name is Francois, but we can't control, if their land is sold or redeveloped in some manner such that they would be forced to give up right away.
But we do have 2 ways in and out.
We have 2 access points for emergency vehicles, yes. And then there's also the crossing of the path, if and when something develops over here and there's a petition to, through the state, trail system, if they can get a road crossing.
So all 3 phases would use those 2,
Mm-hmm.
potentially South Vine Street.
Yeah.
And where he showed that the stub was removed because there was in the phase 2.
Yeah, down here, this would have been going nowhere off the edge.
If you look where this would have been, it would have went all into
Yeah, the wetlands.
lowlands here.
It was really not a feasible access, it was
Yeah.
just connecting to the neighbor who didn't want it anyways.
So when you go down in the end of Vine where Francois have all their oil, their storage stuff, has anybody done any soil samples down there?
We have not. We did,
Just to see if
It's
it's
hard to meet.
contaminated?
we did some soil samples up here for our wetland and drainage study, but didn't do any environmental testing.
I don't remember this at all. Does Clive, I mean, I vaguely remember this, but does Clive then run straight through? What is hitting on the other side of Clive? It comes in?
It's just a jog over from South Park to
Okay, I was trying to get that in where that's at.
And how many homes are in phase 2?
80. I think we said 84. I found 80. Yeah.
I believe you.
Is there a barrier between that and the wetlands?
Yeah, there's we still have what they agreed to, the 20-foot outlot / walking path all around the perimeter, and we'll continue along. I know I verbally agreed, the tentative plan meeting, that we would connect the whole thing around. It doesn't show on this map yet, but that's phase 3. Ian told me that.
So the walking path is on the town's village side of the wetlands there?
Yes, the walking path is on property that
The village.
White Oak owns that is going to be dedicated to the village, gifted to the village, yes. It's not, I'm not taking it from anybody else. This is the utility plan for phase 2, but doesn't really show you much more. Our deep sewer is going to come all the way down here and hit the far end. Stormwater basin is on this corner next to the neighbors. We have there was a agreement with Carpsey and the neighbors to do an extra wetland buffer at the bottom end. We have that.
Will there be any trees planted or anything in that 20-foot barrier buffer?
No, we're planning that to be native grasses.
Okay.
People were desirable to have a walking area. I think there was an somebody had said like, hey, like a walking path easement that was some of the old farmer had given. So yeah, we're actually, in phase 1, we've actually gone in and removed some of the scrub trees so that we could put grasses in. I know we had to go state not only the new lot line back fence post, but also the mark back property pins of the neighbors who were probably, I think half of them were kind of surprised that we're
DNR is okay with the wetlands? The DNR is okay with that with the wetlands?
Yep. Yep, that was the first permit I got. Was the DNR. So down, we've basically got 2 areas where the stormwater will dump into like a wetland kind of, man-made wetland kind of thing, and then it dumps into a wet pond as the final cleansing step before it discharges on our property corner. So these bigger green areas, these are kind of like wetland, pre-treatment wetland areas.
And then the other 2 green areas are parkland.
This is for sure, yeah, it's gonna be a parkland, and then there's like a neighborhood access at the north end, and then open street down here at the bottom.
And then
Oh, this is actually a park with actually like a decorative, like an actual pond, so you can fish in it, and then this is like a wetland area that, there's a known wetland here that's actually, we got buffer around everything. And this one, It's kind of a one-sided street, so this whole side of the street is just all wetland frontage.
Okay. Like I said, sorry, we've been talking about 3 different divisions.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah, 3 different developments, yes. Yeah.
So I was trying
Basically
to,
going somewhere right now.
Keep them convertible.
trying to
Yes.
keep it straight in my head, which one we were talking about.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Badger Trails Phase 2 final plat application.
Second.
Motion by Gary, second by Shelley to approve the Phase 2 Badger Trails final plat application. Any other discussion?
So my understanding is with the plat at this point, as long as it meets all the standards, we have to approve it, correct?
Yeah, as long as it's substantially similar to the preliminary plat that was approved.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item of business, consider ordinance amending section 16.134 of the village zoning code related to the festival district review and approval.
This one's fixing the mistake I made with the rewrite. So we have the festival district, and in the current ordinance, the new ordinance, it kind of grants all authority for setting up the district, adding, subtracting lines from that, and activating the district, which ought to be a village board function with a special event permit. And so this fixes that. It has 2 distinct tracks where the planning commission keeps the authority over the adding, subtracting of lots to the district, and then the village board has authority over approving the district activation. That's all, just eliminating those 2 functions.
Did we take my house out of it?
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what the district is, so.
Yeah, we didn't adjust the district of this.
Besides downtown bars, I don't know. So I would have to do a deep dive just to even figure out what it is. It's only been activated once. I've been here, so.
Under 6F, where it says alcohol may not be carried from one licensed premise to another licensed premise within the festival area.
I mean, that has to go to liquor licensing. You can't have.
So I just.
Yeah. So you can take your alcohol, there's a festival, excuse me, the festival district is activated. You can take your alcohol from bar A out into the festival district and consume it.
Oh, I see.
But you can't go into bar B with it.
I see, I understand.
Because of the alcohol licensing restrictions.
Yep, I get it. I just didn't understand the walking from one, I made it sound like it was walking.
No, if you want to go place to place and drink at each place, that's great. Just don't bring your beer from A to B.
Got it.
You can still crawl.
They might be crawling.
Yeah.
So I know I've seen the map before, so it's around somewhere.
I just haven't concerned myself with that honestly because there's been no imminent use of it.
Right.
So,
Playing devil's advocate, is it really necessary?
Yes.
if you want to drink outside anywhere on a public street, then yes.
Without a temp B license.
There's caveats to everything.
I mean,
Well, as long as we have it, we're not gonna get rid of, I mean, now it's there, it's in place, it took a while to get in place, and wherever to be used again, it's beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, having it set up, it kind of promotes special events to use it, so you guys can turn it on. The point to turn it on, it tells Public Works what to do to make it safer, and tells him not to worry about drinking in certain areas.
Right.
So since this is a public building, we could just set, corner off this block, just have all the festivals just right in this block, right?
Well, you can do that any if you want to. Actually, we don't even need a permit to sell alcohol as a village, so if you want to go that route.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have.
I think you can go on, right?
let's not get back.
You might be onto a new revenue source.
Yep.
Not a horrible idea.
We don't have any room tax revenue yet, let's get this right.
Separate front porch and some Bloody Marys and.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2026-04.
Second. So motion by Gary, seconded by myself to approve the amending section 16134 Village Code for the Festival District. Any discussion? The map supposed to be modified.
That's a plan commission function.
I will take it up this way. And just my house doesn't need to be in it. I don't need
Anyone else? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
So where do we stand with all the ordinances we approved on the website? Have they been all taken care of?
So what we have is a rough draft and final drafts on PDF form on the website.
Yeah.
We're working, Ian and I met a couple weeks ago with the Code 360 people.
I was gonna say, I thought they said.
They told us, they misconstrued how long it was gonna take to get them up, because they told me a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That was to get started on the project, and the project itself takes a couple months, so.
Okay, all right.
So I'm looking for other options, and everybody is on the same timeline, so we just need to be patient for it. They're up on the website.
I know they're on the website, but they weren't, yeah.
Yeah, they will eventually be up on the Code 360 site, and then we'll have the ability to send this stuff to them, and they'll keep it updated. So all this stuff that we're approving now will be sent to them as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Next item of business, consider ordinance amending section 15-034 of the village zoning code related to delegation of the, the certified survey map approval authority and adding sections 15-034 non-majors CSM administrative.
Yeah, this is, doesn't cover a mistake or anything, it's just trying to make the process a little easier for people who are doing very small CSMs. So if you're doing 4 or less CSMs, and there's a few different boxes to check, basically it's very, very simple, cut and dry. There's no public land, no dedication of anything, no effect to utilities, all the lots are adjacent, things like this. Then I would be able to review and approve the application for 4 or less lots, and then put it on the next planning commission agenda as consent agenda, so that the owner need not really worry about having to come to the meeting and doing the rigmarole, and the planning commission doesn't need to waste time talking about it. And if they can, if they want to, because anything you can pull up the consent agenda. But in that role, that's fine. That's just trying to make it for me.
So what if you approve it and the planning commission doesn't like it, they could pull the plug?
Yeah, so planning commission would see it on the consent agenda for the planning commission. And
it would still have all the information there. It had my written determination and the application for the CSM and everything. So it'd be, fully transparent.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm necessarily comfortable with shifting, removing the authority to control plats from ourselves, or control the survey maps to the planning commission, or taking it away from ourselves, I guess is what I should say.
Well, you're not actually, statutorily you can't. That's why it has to go back onto the consent agenda at the minimum. Because the planning commission still has to be aware of it, still has to approve it in some form or fashion.
Yeah, but would it come to us? No, we just go.
Because certified survey maps don't come to the board. They go simply to planning commission. Planning commission has already approved those. They're not like a plat that goes to, the only thing that comes to you guys are prelim plats, final plats, rezoning with or without comp plan adjustments, so.
So like probably the most common one you'd see would be the duplex that, wants to get split with a 0 lot line. And, that would be something that would show up on the consent agenda, because Ian, in this case, would go out and review that to make sure everything, is conforming and shows up on the consent agenda. The planning commission, hopefully they're looking at the consent agenda items before, voting on it. And if they disagree, it comes off the consent agenda as a separate item, just like, it's handled here at the board. And, a more in-depth look and decision will be made on it.
Now, we did vote on splitting the duplex to 0.
That was, requiring a rezone. So the rezone was approved, the plat was not, actually.
Yeah, the way around.
Yeah.
Because we accidentally, approved the CSS, and then we realized it needed to be rezoned. In order for that to happen, the rezone did come to you guys. I don't think we tabled it actually, but.
No, I think everything was.
Did we straighten that
Everything was
one?
eventually approved, it just didn't get signed because of other.
I'm pretty sure we didn't approve that one.
I don't know, some other being built there.
Yeah,
So anything that would require a rezone would come here
Right.
anyway.
And I have all the confidence in our planning commission that they're, competent enough to make decisions like something that's small. You said only 4.
These are non-major, yes, these are non-major
Yeah.
changes.
And I
Commercial towns,
And again, it's already, planning commission already does this, we're
Yeah.
just changing the process a little bit to do
Yeah.
it, so.
yeah, so 4 less, and then, like you said, it has anything to do with, anything to do with the addition of like mains or utilities or, any stormwater complications, any rezones, any dedication of public lands, which I don't really see that before, but, anything like that would automatically take it to the planning commission anyway. Like, this is largely for the splitting duplexes and just like smaller administrative stuff, but yeah, I don't know, it's an option. If you guys don't feel comfortable with it, that's fine. It's just an option to try to.
Just for clarification, you said we have to do more with splitting duplexes, but then you said historically we had this come up previously and it wouldn't have fallen on that.
Because there was a rezone.
Will it always be a rezone with the splitting of a duplex?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, no, we allow multiple units as a right in some of our zoning districts now within the code. And so it wouldn't necessarily, so long as it had the minimum requirements within the zoning district.
And that was a kind of thing to that effect, so.
That was where you put in one application at a time or started reviewing the application board and then realized that you needed to do the first application all along.
I would make a motion to amend section 15.04 of the village zoning code related to delegation of CSM approval authority, adding sections non-major CSM administrative.
Second.
Motion by Melissa, second by Shelley. Any other discussion?
Just you didn't make the changes I requested, but I'll still vote for it.
Well, yeah, I know the ZA zoning admin. I know. I'll get there.
Oh, okay.
I'll get there.
Okay.
Here's a very short window of time.
Yeah, I know.
Wednesday and Thursday morning.
Just gotta harass you a little.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. Scott is a no. So 6-1. Motion passes. All right, next item, consider resolution amending the 2026 village budget to provide funds for the purchase of a leaf vac system.
Yes, welcome to the moment you've been waiting for since last October. Yeah, we've kind of been waiting till we got a machine that had all the specs we wanted and was close to the price point that we were looking at. We found some that met our requirements, but had a little too much stuff on them, and we just didn't really want to spend the money. And then the last piece of the puzzle, we had them bring the machine down last week and have our guys check it out. They all love it. For everyone who remembers, our leaf vac equipment right now is not so great. It's not really fit for a municipality. It's more like what a contractor might use for cleaning up someone's yards. And the result of its labor and time inefficiency is essentially the way we had to work It was basically once a year in the fall, we had to wait for the best possible moment when as many leaves were on the ground as possible, and then dedicate the entire crew to 1 week of just doing leaf pickup, which was not great for anything. Not great for labor, not great for results, but it was the best we could do with what we had. This will allow us to do the job much, much more efficiently and actually be able to schedule it, probably a couple times a month, starting when leaves fall in October. Just like we schedule now with our new street sweeper. So yeah, the guys checked out the last week. We got it confirmed and set up. The one addition, I don't know if you looked at the actual quote there. The one addition we have is like a lengthening and modification of the swivel, the discharge, so that we know it'll work in our new 550, the box truck we're getting for the chipper, for the chipper. But that's it. And so, yeah, that's for approval of resolution.
I'll move we approve resolution 2026-22.
Second. So, motion by Gary, second by Scott. For approving. Okay, I know I asked you about this via email a little bit. So it's gonna go and work with one of the new 550s?
Yeah, that will be, this is an approved, CIP approved, already the process. It'll be coming to, that new truck will be coming to Public Works at their next meeting.
Okay, so when are we supposed to get that vehicle?
The truck?
Yeah.
They've actually already got it sitting at Rosen, assuming it's accepted right now.
I'm making sure that we have all the pieces in place is why I'm asking these questions. So is that truck a dumper?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, not that, it's a flatbed and you gotta shovel it out or something. Well, it's all labor. I'm just, I don't want to approve this knowing we're gonna have a problem.
No, I understand. And also I will say, we've got our chipper truck right now is that old 350.
Yep.
Looks like we could probably get about $500 for it. So it's my thought, actually, that we keep that thing. If there's a terrible, dirty job that we don't want to, or dangerous, the wrong word. Call it dangerous. The truck might get stuck here. It might be good to have that one vehicle around, especially if you're not going to get anything for it. So even if for some reason, because we've got to get the truck from Rosen and we're already arranging with, again, it's all subject to approval, but with Monroe to get the topper, the box put on that. Yep. So even if that is delayed, we will still have, according to my plan, we will still have the 350 so that we can use the lead back.
Okay. Any other comments or just questions? All right, so motion by Gary, second by Scott to approve the resolution amending the budget to provide funds for the leaf back system. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next item, consider the purchase of the leaf back system.
You know what you're doing here.
I make a motion to consider the purchase of a leaf pack system.
Second.
Does this come with a warranty?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it is off the top of my head, but yes.
Oh, I was just like not on the thing.
No, it makes
Spend
sense.
a lot of money on something.
I assure you it will have a warranty. If it does not have a warranty, I will not sign up for it. It's a $100,000 piece of equipment. I understand, yeah.
It's kind of warranty, at least like a car, maybe 90 days.
100,000 leaves.
All right, so we got a motion by Shelley, second by Debbie to approve or consider purchase of a leaf vac system, approving that. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Yep, and yes, this is after the fact we already voted on, but I should point out that this money is coming out of the stormwater fund cash. We have it, so.
Yep, so between this and the street sweeper, be done.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
All right, moving on. Consider resolution amending the 2026 village budget to provide funds for additional water quality testing in Lake Bellevue.
Okay. I threw the cheat sheet up on this one because obviously if you're approving the funds first, you should know what you're approving it for. We did the water quality testing last year. This is more of a chemistry angle on things. This is not the same thing over again. This is an extension beyond. The first one focused more on, I don't know if they call it megafauna, I don't know, carp invasive species, vegetation, things like that. This is much more about the water chemistry. This is actually the two gentlemen that this would be going through used to work for the DNR, and they are in fact the two guys who, when they worked for the DNR, did the water quality testing for Lake Bellevue. In the 3 years, I believe it was once every 3 years after the berm was put up. So based on that work, I've read those studies, I've read those reports, I've seen that work. It's very good work. I've got a high level of trust in these individuals. So that's good. Where on find my, I highlighted a couple of portions here on the second page. Talking about how this will focus more on nutrient dynamics. It'll help us determine whether internal phosphorus loading is happening. It'll look at the groundwater inputs, sediment, nutrient release, and other factors contributing to observed water quality issues. This information is critical for determining whether future management actions should prioritize carp production, aeration improvements, aquatic vegetation restoration, nutrient management strategies, and other interventions. There's another aspect to this. It was recently opened up that, hey, maybe a beach is not off the menu. It is possible. Maybe it's not a dead end. And this information would also greatly go towards that, because if we were to have a beach, there is all kinds of water testing that needs to be done, and it needs to be done consistently, like every week. So this would provide a baseline. And also included in this, just a couple add-ons. There's PFAS testing in this, because there's been questions about, we have PFAS chemicals, we have for rubber chemicals in our lake, which would answer that question. And they are also going to be, according to this, they will also be electroshocking game fish, which was sort of a leftover question. The previous group, yes, obviously you're shocking fish, you're shocking everything there, but they were only tagging and counting carp. These guys are going to count game fish. This one is significantly more chemistry heavy than the last one. So I will answer questions as best I can, but if you have any questions, I'll do my best.
And this is coming out of the lake fund, or the bequeathment.
Yes.
Fine.
So are we testing on the east side of the berm or the west side of the berm or both sides?
The lake side.
So the lake is on the east side.
How many times will they test it? Are we getting like a one-time reading? We're gonna test it every other month?
It's throughout the year. The next item's got the whole testing plan. Where testing in February with ice cover. In the summer, they're testing the deep spot in the lake for PFAS and everything else.
Another interesting thing about this that I think is interesting is, I mean, our lake is purely groundwater fed. There's it's not getting fed from the river. So it's essentially a self-contained unit. And we have the measurements that they took from, I think, 2010, 11, 12. And we'll be able to compare that to now within an essentially closed system. So that's going to give us an indication of what's happening there. Also, I will point out that when I took this to Parks, they had a couple additions that they wanted. They wanted a guarantee basically of a report that sort of explains things in sort of lay terms, but also that they would come down and answer questions for the board, whatever you guys wanted to talk about. And so for a slight increase in the price, $500, they agreed to both those terms, and we put them in the contract.
Coming out of Parks, it was, and from my standpoint on it, I guess, we've got that money sitting there. We haven't used it. If we're going to go forward on any sort of plan, like the comprehensive plan is laid out, whether we're going to go forward in going that direction, that maybe the public thinks we should with some sort of beach or waterfront area, or we can rule out scientifically that this is not a good option for us. I think either one, we need this testing for. We recoup this money in a short amount of time with interest earned on the rest of it.
Right.
I feel like it was minimal charge. I think we're going to gain a lot of input on what we're doing. And it's lake funds. I mean, we've got the money sitting there, lake fund. We just have to use it for something. And if this goes in the direction that I think we need to go and gather some knowledge on what we have, that's what that grant's for. Figuring out lake health.
We're also going to determine the flushing rate, which I have interest in.
Talked about that.
No, that's kind of
When it's turning over.
Groundwater fed, we'll see how often that water recycles.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any idea, right?
Right. And now
I don't remember that in any other studies we had, so.
So I would make a motion that we approve the 2026 Village Lake budget funds, water quality testing in Lake Belleville.
Second.
Motion by Debbie, seconded by Scott to approve the funds for water quality testing in Lake Bellevue. Any additional discussion? And you said this is coming out of the bequeathment, so the full budget amount will become $11,500 for studies and engineering?
Yeah, that's actually more, the study I think is 8,500.
Yeah.
I just added in 8,500, I think there was 2,000 something already in there.
According to the numbers here, it's 2,500 was in there.
Okay.
And you added 9,000.
I like a little cushion. I don't like begging for money twice.
Right? All right.
That'll take what, a month of interest to recoup?
Not even.
2 weeks.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Yes, my other comments. I had the same question you did, how often this is done, and it's spread out throughout the year doing tests, so it,
Is this something we'll eventually get on like a cycle with of like, we should do this every year, every 3 years, or 5 years?
Probably.
I mean,
we'll see we'll see what this returns.
Yeah.
With, you know,
Like,
And I think what our,
change, like.
I think what our projects are gonna look like, right? I mean, we had a huge flood in 2018 too, which we talked about at parks. It could have dramatically changed the lake structure. Another big event like that might call for something, but.
Sure.
Or another 10 years if we make a big change. But
Yeah, it depends what path we take too, because I mean, like, if we do go down the beach route, testing is going to be constant.
well, yeah, some kind of testing, not exactly this kind of,
Yeah.
but yes, you'd be testing weekly, daily in some cases.
All right. Next item, consider water quality testing contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the water quality testing contract.
Second.
Well, that's speedy. Boy, I really got the heavy note.
Say, this one's mine.
So, yeah, we kind of discussed that already. So any other questions or discussion?
I have a question. How long is this contract for? 1 year, 5 years, 10 years?
They lay out kind of their schedule for doing things. It's essentially, some of the things they have to do multiple times a year, but I believe it's all within 1 year.
Like they start in July and end in April.
Yeah, that's laid out in the contract there.
Yeah, July through April.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, consider the police commission attorney contract.
I'm just going to say one thing about this, and then I'm going to hand it off to Chief. Our village's labor attorney made it very clear, the police commission needs its own attorney, cannot be represented by the village. That's not negotiable. And that can't wait till next year, it's gotta be now. That's all I'm gonna say about it, the rest, leave to Chief.
In the same vein, I've only worked under police and fire commission. The police
police commissions that have been well established. So this is all new learning for me as well as starting up a new commission like this. State statutes are clear that it's an independent body. From that standpoint, during the transition between you and Drew, I did reach out to the labor relation attorney for the village, to which I was, I want to say, probably chastised a little bit that I shouldn't be getting involved in the police commission's business, that it's the police commission's responsibility to more or less find their own way. So from that standpoint, that the commission is made up of people that have never served in such a capacity before, I did take the liberties to try to give them some guidance from that standpoint. With that said, because the labor relation attorney said that the commission needs its own attorney, I went out and basically firms that I know of that have represented the interests of the commission in my previous lives. I reached out to Reason, Boardman Clark, and Axley. And from those, basically, their price points are very similar to one another for this type of work. And so I put all three of those attorneys, and I should caveat, the attorney that I normally dealt with Boardman Clark has retired. So I didn't know of the attorneys that are in Boardman Clark's pool that deals with police commissions. But the other two I did. I put all three forward to the commission, and the commission decided to go with Axley from that standpoint. So as far as how much is going to be needed from this attorney, and I can't speak for the commission, so I'll make that in bold, italicized, 26 font. Though I can't speak for the commission based on the two meetings and then conversations with the chair, I think that at this point, they're just going to rely on this attorney to set their foundation. And then once they are past kind of this point, they wouldn't until they either had a legal question or entering into a disciplinary hearing where they're going to be hearing the case before them. So that's my initial take on it, but like I said, I can't speak with the commission. If the board does approve of Axley this evening, that attorney would meet with the board on the 24th of June, which is their next meeting, to discuss expectations and that kind of stuff. So, and then I can give the board and the administrator a better view on how much is going to be, a budget amendment is going to have to be done. Because in there too, kind of like the municipal court, the police commission kind of has to have its own line item from that standpoint as well in the budget. So.
And where do we anticipate the funds for this budget amendment in the future will be coming from? The general fund, probably?
Yeah.
Well, seeing as you don't have much choice, I'll make a motion that we approve the accident engagement agreement.
Second.
Motion by Gary, second by Debbie. To approve. Got into the wrong profession.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. If it brings a little ease to the mind, I have already drafted a bylaws and rules manual for the commission, which is required by statute, to give them a jumping off point. So hopefully all that he has to do, if the attorney's approved, is review it, sign off on it, talk it through with the commission. And then from the standpoint by statute too, they have to approve the position description for all sworn members. Village already has those in place, so all he really needs to do is review them, give his any recommendations and move on. So it's not like we're creating stuff from scratch. So that also alleviates the cost, I'm hoping.
This could add up quickly.
In her,
So. Any other comments or discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item of business. Consider resolution amending the 2026 village budget to provide funds for alternate plans set for 1 West Main.
All right,
My favorite location.
time for me to make you feel icky about governance and make choices. Doesn't feel great, but it's my responsibility to do this. When we contracted for the designs for One West Main for the new Village Hall, we're looking at the 20-year plan, what are we going to need 20 years from now. That's all great. Got those designs all laid out. That's wonderful. First and second floor, utilizing both with the elevator. It's understandable. And talking with Gabe, he also did it with the perspective. He knows how hard it is to get big developments done, get big things done. And so basically he wanted to handle it all now. I understand that. We were looking at this and seeing that we aren't going to need that bottom floor for 10 years probably. And so Ian and I were looking at this and going, we saw potential for significant savings money-wise. And you're just, if we essentially had them build the infrastructure for the elevator without actually putting the elevator in, and then not removing the vault. And so not using the basement story, not using that bottom floor yet, not needing the elevator. And it would be a change in design, which they eventually, gave us the figure back to do that additional work, $14,500. The construction savings is somewhere between, I believe, estimated $150,000 to $200,000 right now. Plus, I have to add to that, and this is the part that really sticks with me, is our elevator here, the safety checks and everything, it's $1,600 a quarter. So we're not going to have an elevator in that other building, which we probably won't need for 10 years, that we'll be putting in $6,400 a year, every year, just for safety checks for an elevator we don't use. I understand the difficulty of having to step in again 10 years from now and say, hey, we need to renovate, and that will cost more. But I think it's more fiscally responsible to do it that way than to do it all right. It's a choice to be made.
So they want to charge us $15,000 to rework the plans.
To provide us a second option. I mean, we still retain the first option. And remember, you're talking about a $900-something thousand project. So do keep that scale in mind here.
So isn't there a isn't there a break room supposed to be in that basement?
There was.
Where will the break room go, in the vault?
Ian, you got any thought on where the break room? I don't think we've actually worked out where.
Not exactly where, but I mean, there's no short of possibilities. The vault is a possibility, shortening up keeping it much like it is now, shortening up the conference room. They currently have the cabinets and everything in there is a possibility.
Because I know when you look at the plans for that, there is no egress from the basement. That was a concern of mine. It's like, wait a minute, God forbid if there's people downstairs in the break room and there's a fire or whatever breaks out upstairs, they got no way out. They don't use an elevator, and if they can't get up the stairs, they got no way out. So maybe that's not such a bad thing that we hold off on the basement right now.
At least initially, the only.
I mean, I know it passed code for that, but.
Yeah, the only thing that would be down there would be the IT room, much like it is in Village Hall currently. Otherwise, we would save the cost of having to renovate for a break room and renovate the bathroom down there. And we would save the cost of the installation of the elevator. In 10 years, I think, probably further out than that. But I mean, because there is quite a bit of unused space still on the first floor once everything is situated, even with keeping the vault the way it is. That and then, I mean, there's what we can build and what we can't build. So after purchase of the building, we have about $1.4 million fund balance. It was 1.7 and change at the audit. So 1.4 million fund balance. Cutting back the scale of this could potentially make it so that we could pay all cash for not only the acquisition, but for the project all the way to the end. And so it also would save, any interest payments we would make on debt we otherwise have to take out. Because we wouldn't be able to do $1.3 million project on top and still keep our fund balance within the policy.
So if we do this, get the second set of plans, I don't know anything about construction, so I can hardly pound a nail. Would it be beneficial to look at least putting the shaft in for the elevator now, rather than having to come back and do that?
That's exactly what I asked. I asked if we could still do the cinder block shaft for the elevator, so literally all we'd have to do is drop an
elevator in there, so.
That was my concern too of, not knowing what all goes into an elevator shaft, if it's, building the cinder blocks around it and not putting in any of the guide rails or something that might be needed, was my thought in case, 10 years from now, elevator models have changed or something and, you just need, so that you're not like, oh crap, we put in all these, steel guide rails or whatever, and now we gotta take them out. Because
there's a difference between being prudent with spending now and cutting it down and kind of like cutting off your nose to spite your face for later on. I mean, we will eventually move into the basement there.
Yeah.
It's not like Village Hall is going to move from that space anytime before I retire or die. So, I mean, it's going to happen. It's just, what's the most prudent way for us to fund it now, knowing that even when we get to the point we're going to use the basement, when we get to that point, we'd have to run everything as anyway, so it's going to be a project.
So along those lines though, about making sure the elevator shaft isn't whatever, are we sure that doesn't it just make sense to remove that vault now if we're already under construction? Then trying to get that vault out later when we're built around it again?
Well, it depends on what we're going to use vault for. We're always going to need a vault for storage of documents and, everything else we've got.
Okay.
It's like we have the vault now that we use, albeit sparingly, for documents and all that kind of stuff. So that doesn't really change. I mean, we're always going to need that storage component. Having it on the first floor where it's accessible is going to be nice. The cost of just the manpower, because it's not like you drive a space here into the building, take it down. The manpower it would take to get out a 12-inch by 12-inch by 12-inch by 12-inch concrete room with rebar and everything is just astronomical.
So we would be keeping the vault probably regardless, right? Of the plan we draw or not, we're keeping a vault. It's never going to be removed.
I mean, under the current costs and the current plans, it does call for it to be removed. So doing this would remove that from the plan. And so we would be keeping the vault. So, I mean, if one day we wanted to get rid of it, it would be extremely expensive. But I see it far less likely that we would absolutely need to get rid of that vault as opposed to just moving out of the basement.
Well, history-wise, when we bought the building we're currently in, that was one of the, other than the fact that that bank didn't want another bank to come in there, so they gave us a hell of a deal on that building, but the vault was another major selling point in there for records and all that kind of stuff. So I never did understand why we're going to try to remove that vault out of this building, so, but.
I think we did in that plan, the first plan group did have a storage room in it.
Yeah.
This is just taking it, really moving it back on a concrete wall, which does make sense because there are plenty of things in our vault upstairs. I'm in that vault way more than Ian is. So it is quite used here, so it is worth having.
My concern is that, we all know that 10 years ago, it was a lot cheaper, right? 10 years from now, it could be a lot more expensive. We're not, if you have a cursory understanding of economics, you're looking at the perfect storm of inflation. So I don't think the prices aren't going to be lower in 10 years, and they're likely to be quite phenomenal. That's my biggest concern, is that we're going to end up doing this, but it's going to be more expensive to do it.
Are we ADA compliant without the elevator?
With our design, I mean, yes, we will, because we will not have a unique space in the basement that has to be accessible. So long as we don't have operations in the basement, we'll be fine.
So we can buy IT, you have storage down there, whatever else, as long as it doesn't have to be accessible. Like I said, at some point in the future, when we get too big for the first floor, that'll be the trigger.
That's a pretty big space.
Yeah. Yeah, the usable space on the first floor is bigger than the usable space, especially if you take the food pantry out of the equation. The current village hall, and then the basement is, this is exactly as large. So, yeah.
I'm just thinking 10 years into the future, I don't think Belleville is gonna be so big that we would need substantial number more staff.
Administrative staff, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, public works and PD and all the ancillary stuff, building inspector, whatever we have at that point, like, yeah, I mean, they'll need more room, but it's not, they can't live in this building.
Correct.
So you're looking for $15,000 right now to basically redraw the first floor of the plans, keeping, and the adjustments that architects are gonna have to, are keeping the vault and possibly creating some sort of break room there. Refresh my memory on the existing plan. Were there extra offices already for additional staff?
There were 2 extra office spaces and 1, 2, 3, 4 cubicle spaces.
Okay.
Wouldn't open?
I mean, if you think about that original plan, there was probably 3 offices for Ian alone, based on his job description.
I didn't look at the original plan, and I just wanted to make sure because, you know, like Scott was saying, there's somewhat of a, you know, which way do you go? Do you spend the money now and overbuild basically and leave it unutilized? Or save the money now?
Yeah.
Reduce costs and expenses, which have a benefit, and free up money for other things. And not only, you know, free up the money, or you can earn interest on it, or, you know, there's a lot of pros to not spending the money also, which I'd rather have extra funds available in case of an emergency over the next 10 years than necessarily burn it by overbuilding something.
I think also you have to consider, like, we can think what they're gonna need in 10 years, but we're not gonna know that, and standards and what we want might change by that point. We've already locked ourselves into, spent all this money. Like, would we, so for bad comparison's sake, would we be at the point where you're like, I have the first floor of a house, I'm going to now go finish off my basement, or are we at like, I'm blowing out my basement, starting from scratch in 10 years?
You know, I mean, the basement is what you would expect a commercial basement.
So you're still finishing it, and at that point, we're gonna have a better idea as to what we actually want in our basement versus me now thinking I want a media room and in 5 years deciding, what crap, I need a bedroom.
Speaking of your scenario, is exactly what I did with my house. I built the first floor, left the basement unfinished, and now I am finishing it right now, building it for what I need.
Not what you thought you wanted.
Not what I was guessing I needed.
And we may not need an elevator in 10 years.
I mean, honestly, look at the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
You went through that huge project with anticipated growth, and the growth didn't happen.
But it's coming.
Oh, yeah, now, but.
Well, and now we're good, and thank Tom for maintaining that thing, it's still good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I mean, the big unknown we talked about before, empty offices, empty cubicles, like, the really cool thing about it, yes, there are empty offices there, but the cubicle space, like the bullpen area in the middle is the real wild card because you can constantly shift that around however it needs to be shifted to allow.
And if memory serves correct, the administrator's office was 3 times the size of anybody else's.
That's because the wall was knocked out for the.
Not necessary.
Being the penny pincher, I'm looking at $15,000 seems pretty high to redraw that single floor.
Actually, no. That's what.
I don't know about that, but.
Yeah.
In the
But
industry,
it's not
that's-
like we're gonna, you know, go back to bigger.
honestly, I don't think they want to do it, so.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get, yeah. But he couldn't hung himself. I mean,
Well-
asking the question and, yeah.
I think it, I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but Belleville's done really well financially in the direction it's gone over the last few years. And I think it might be time for us to lash down the benefits we've made and make sure we don't lose anything and make sure we don't do anything foolish.
I would rather have the, at the end of this project, which I didn't want in the first place, stress, I would rather see an extra $150,000 to $200,000 available for something else that may come up as an emergency even in the next 10 years. And if we have grown to the point that we need to finish the lower half of that building, we should be in a position to be able to afford it even at the current rates. And that's how it worked out with my house too, by the way. I didn't afford it. And, so like that $150,000, it could go for a water tower or, it's probably not specifically that, it's probably a different. But something that's unplanned. And just,
Yeah.
I like having that cushion.
Yeah, that's another thing, that elevator, the quarterly, I mean, that's our operational budget, and that is much harder to manipulate.
Yeah.
$6,000 a year in operations.
I would just ask that whatever plans they design here, make whatever elevator shaft is in there is, so basic that we don't have to worry about putting the elevator in the future. Some sort of locked doors or just drywall around the whole thing or whatever, so that we just know it's there. And don't lose the existing plans that were drawn up, so we don't have to have them redrawn, in 10 years. Oh, hey, guess what? We've already got a design, it's done. That'll save us $50,000 in architectural fees. So.
That's the problem, they're not cheap.
No.
Design fees are not cheap.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-24.
Second.
Second by Debbie. Gary's motion. I would have seconded, but I chose not to on principle.
I was gonna say, if you were second, I'm gonna fall out of my chair.
I knew you were gonna do it.
Any other discussion?
I think it's a good case to be made either way, but either way.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That was
Motion
your chance,
passes 7-0. I've already lost the main battle.
It's not worth it. When you leave, I'm gonna get like a cake that says I voted against one West.
I voted no. When you dedicate the building, you make. I don't want this anyway. Yeah, don't give it up. Don't give
That'll be my legacy, huh?
I deserve this.
I'm going to get those lots of good library list to everybody, and Mike's just, next to Mike, it's no.
That'll get me give that speech. That's awesome.
All right. I'm gonna keep this truck on one because it's been a long agenda already. Consider alcohol establishment license for Family Dollar Class A beer and liquor.
Okay, this is the only one that didn't end up on the consent agenda, and there's a reason for that. I'm not really sure where I'm gonna start with this, but let's just start at the beginning-ish. Family Dollar hasn't had a viable liquor license since July of '24. So this isn't technically a renewal, it's a
New application.
They are, but it's not. We've denied them in '24 We approved them tentatively on a condition that was never met in 25. So they haven't really had a liquor license since then. They do pass inspections from fire, building, police. It's not that they couldn't necessarily hold a liquor license. It's the concern from the clerk's office is such that the rules on liquor licensing, if you have a liquor license, you want to be open whether you're selling liquor or not, except for the overnight hours when liquor isn't allowed to be sold in Wisconsin. If you have a liquor license and you want to be open, you have to have an operator to sell your, so an operator's license, someone with a bartender's license, that has the permission to sell alcohol or the permission, whatever you want to be. Family Dollar has not had any operator's licenses. They might have had, their turnover is very high, so if they have had an operator's license, it's been very sporadic. Even their managers currently has an application for operator's license in, but they have 4 operator's license applications in, but none of them have been paid for yet. I did hear from my deputy that we're supposed to be getting a check for those, so they may have operator's licenses. If they are granted an application or granted a license, an alcohol license, and they don't have an operator on staff at the time, they have to be closed completely. So if TV goes in to inspect and they don't have an operator on staff, they have to close. Which is where my concern from the clerk's standpoint is, if we grant them, you guys have the right to grant them, you guys also have discretion whether you want to deny them a license.
Now, my understanding is that discretion does not apply if it's a renewal, right?
So in our ordinances, where in chapter 10, it does say you can discretion based generally the applicant's fitness for the trust to be proposed, which is a very general way of saying you have your discretion whether you believe they are fit to do we trust them with the liquor license. Some of that has to do with a lot of the other stuff in considerations has to do with their own things that we would find on a background check or their financial responsibility, the appropriateness of the location. Like I said, all that stuff was approved through the background checks and the inspections. My biggest concern and what the DOR told, the Department of Revenue has told the clerks is it is very easy to deny a liquor license with no repercussions instead of granting one. It is very hard once you grant them one to pull it back. And I know that a lot of people rely on that Family Dollar here in the village. And if they get a liquor license and they have to continually be closed because they don't have any operators on staff, their business is gonna, they're just gonna be gone.
There's no reason to have a liquor license if you don't have an operator that's licensed, period. That's
right.
it. There's no way I would vote to give them a license, period. That's it.
Do we have a liquor license available?
So
This is a
Class
retail.
Class A.
Class A's are unlimited. The only one with a stipulation is Class B liquor.
That's right.
No.
So Class A's are unlimited.
This is.
Like I said, I can see both sides of this. Like, they haven't had one because they don't have operators. We could still grant them, there's no reason not to. Their corporate wants one. Their corporate will keep sending us applications until they get one. The manager doesn't want one.
The corporate needs to find somebody operating to license it, just like if somebody else loses their license because they don't have somebody available to cashier.
So I guess the question is like, do we want to grant them a license but basically close the Family Dollar, which shouldn't be on your guys' head to decide, but it would be the consequence of that action. Do we want to deny them?
So we get dragged again.
I would rather we deny them and keep the store open.
Well, there's a couple of points I would make. One, we're parsing to some degree whether or not they've previously had a license. This is a renewal. Corporate can come down and sue us, right?
We went back and checked. They haven't had a valid license since 24.
But they had one previously.
Yeah, but they're past the 180-day threshold.
The second point I would make is that they've met the requirements to have a liquor license.
No, they don't have an operator.
But the operators and the operator's license and the liquor license are separate requirements, correct?
They're both under liquor. I mean, you
Well,
can't
yes.
have a liquor license, you can't without an operator.
You can't sell liquor without an operator, but we can't say, you're not going to meet this requirement. So we're not going to give you this license, right? Like, it's one thing if we know it's a requirement they can't meet. But I actually would make a motion that we table this, have the lawyer look at it and see what the lawyer says and go from there. Because I'm not comfortable parsing whether or not, their corporate wants it. Whether or not the store manager wants it, the manager doesn't own the store, corporate does. And I think we should get a lawyer's opinion. And
So you said a lot there, Maren.
I know, it's been a lot.
So-
Yeah.
Can you recap for me? Specifically, do they have any valid operators right now?
They do not have any valid operators right now.
And never have.
To my knowledge, they've been applications.
I don't need to worry about all that stuff. I'm just
Yeah,
curious whether or not they have any valid
at
operators.
the moment, no.
So they want a liquor license without anyone able to even sell.
Correct.
And I can see maybe a catch-22 there on their side of, which comes first.
If we get payment for their 4 applications in the next, because a liquor license at this point wouldn't be valid until July 1st anyway. If, what my deputy clerk told me is true, and we have a payment coming in for those 4, and we can get them processed with the background checks from PD, when we grant them their operator license, then they would technically have 4 people theoretically. I'm not sure all 4 of those people even still work there. But if they do, then they would, theoretically, they could in 2 weeks have valid operators.
So with that said, can this come back to us after they have operators?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, I mean, we can table it, we can get it,
We can wait and see if they have operators and not make a decision on it right now.
I would prefer the river.
Kind of to Scott's point, I don't think we should necessarily speculate whether or not they'll be able to maintain an operator in the building for business hours. That's not ours to project. Yes, it would be very detrimental to our community if they end up being closed all the time due to turnover or people not showing up or whatever. And I want to know, I had a question on that. So an operator just needs to be in the building. They don't have to necessarily be at the point of sale, correct?
An operator needs to be in view of the, so either they need to actually perform the sale or they need to be in view of the sale deal. So they can't just be in the building. If an operator is backstocking and they don't see the alcohol being sold, that's not kosher. They have to be the one either selling it or in view of it.
It's just like being a bartender.
I also had sort of, the corporate, the owner of the store wants a liquor license. For us to make the decision, well, it'd be bad for your business to do that, to give you that.
We're not saying it'd be bad for their business. We're speculating it would be bad for our community if business is closed and we have to enforce the regulations.
So does corporate, have you had a conversation with anybody from corporate about, that if we grant this and we go in and there's not an operator that they have to close, do they understand that,
Chief has talked to them more recently than I have.
Chris?
I have an email prepared, depending on the village board's decision tonight. That email will go out saying that if they don't have an operator on duty under this statute, we'll shut you down. And we will be doing periodic checks.
So, okay, so that.
They're not the only store they have in Wisconsin, right?
No. So, yeah, and I understand that, but I just want to make sure that, because, so my other point is, and this could happen with any business. So, I mean, I don't want to say that we're singling Family Dollar out because there's been issues in the past, but this applies to Casey's, this applies to whoever, Quick Trip, whoever has a a Class A license that if the PD goes in and they don't have an operator, a licensed operator, they get closed down, correct?
That's correct.
Correct. We had one business last year that we did two in that case.
Okay,
So-
and I sat in on, I listened to the PD, police committee the other night, so, for public safety, so I do know, but, so I'm thinking, this is a good educational thing too, that, you know, when we send these permits back to or the licenses back to all these other places, that maybe we need to send something along that stresses that also, that, hey, by the way, we can do periodic checks, and, oh, by the way, if you don't have a license.
We will do periodic.
Well, yeah, if you don't have a licensed operator, you're gonna have to shut down until you get one there or whatever, so.
It actually comes out on so I send out a renewal letter
Okay,
and the information on operators.
it's all in there, okay,
It
all right.
does go out to them, so they
Okay.
should be aware. It doesn't hurt to send it out again, though.
So then my other question is, so if we don't approve this tonight because we don't know if any of those operators are gonna pass the 4 applications that we have, if any of them are either currently employees there or are gonna pass the background check and everything, we can table this, we can grant this license at any time, right?
Right, I mean, you can grant the license later, it would still expire at the end
At the end of June 30th.
of next year, yeah.
Yeah, then I would agree with Scott's motion that we just table this, and I don't know about the attorney part, but at least.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I did not say, just for the legal protection of the village, there is enough muddy water here. You should table this for legal opinion.
Do we know how much of their business is actually alcohol?
Zero.
Because they don't have a license.
They haven't had it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I don't think they even have any alcohol in there
No,
right
they
now.
don't.
No, they can't because they haven't had a valid license.
Yeah, so I don't see
then it
what
was
the
just
problem
more
would be
beer.
saying no.
Oh, is it?
It was, they just had like stacks of beer.
Well, right, they had the whole issue put on it.
Walk next door to the pig and get it.
Reach first.
Do we need a
Okay, so
motion to table
we're
this?
gonna table this.
Yeah, let's do it. If you want to go ahead and make an official motion to table, that would be.
Yep.
I'll second Scott's previous motion.
Okay. Scott made the motion, carried.
Scott, second by Gary.
When you go to law school, they teach you to think differently than everybody else, so.
My biggest thing is, we don't have approved operators yet.
Yeah.
It is a concern.
So-
I mean, like I said, I can see both sides to it. I don't have, from the clerk's standpoint, I don't have a recommendation in this game, except I do know that the Family Dollar in general in the area is struggling. The next closest one to the south of us is closing, because when I talked to their clerk, they had put in an application, and then they rescinded it because they was going to close that store. So,
My understanding from DOR is that you accept the liquor license, that's the first step, and then the operator license is the subsequent step, right? So they don't need operators if they don't have a liquor license.
if they don't
But-
have, yeah. But if you do have a license and you don't have any operators, you can't be open.
But what if you don't have alcohol in your store?
It doesn't matter, you can't be open.
You can say.
Just asking, I mean,
No, that's a valid question that I think somebody asked last time I talked to the DOR. It doesn't matter if you don't have alcohol in the store, it doesn't matter if you're saying, well, we're not selling the alcohol right now because we don't have an operator. If you have a license, you have to have an operator.
well, wouldn't that mean technically if we approved it tonight, that they would be closed?
No, because it's licensed.
Well, as of July 1.
July 1.
Yeah, well, if they got the operators, they'd be fine, but that's, it's not our, I think it's probably a bad decision for this, so that's not our call.
No, I know, but he said,
Yeah, this one's a little too muddy for me. Let's table it.
All right, so we got a motion by Scott, seconded by Gary to table this motion until a later date when we have legal opinion and possibly approval of operators.
And operators you can approve directly, right?
Yeah, I have, you guys have granted me that power as the clerk to approve, to license the operators without coming to you.
Is that,
And they've already gone through background checks?
No, I haven't paid them yet.
Oh,
We have they have pre-approved applications, I'm waiting for payment before I send them to background check. I'm not gonna do the work that they want paid yet.
any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item is tabled. Communications, miscellaneous business, news and announcements.
Crickets.
Yeah, crickets today. Upcoming community events.
Your farmer's market starts next week. Tomorrow. That's next week, to be my brain, guys. Yes, tomorrow. Along with more people in the park.
Swipe breath.
I don't think we have anything that came up.
Great. Makes for a good weekend for someone to plan one. Hello, public, plan one. Future agenda items. Any? Maybe this liquor license thing?
I guarantee there will be items on the agenda.
Yes. Right? All right. I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Scott. To adjourn, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned at 7:50.